Good morning everyone. This is Raghu, Assistant Professor of Biotechnology from SRN BGNR Government College, Khammam. So today's topic is vectors of gene cloning. So gene cloning is a process where foreign DNA is inserted into a cloning vehicle. So that is a vector, and that vector is introduced into the eukaryotic cells like plant or animal cells and prokaryotic cells in order to produce our protein of interest. So that is the process of recombinant DNA technology. So for the insertion of your foreign DNA, for obtaining multiple copies of your foreign DNA or for expression of your foreign DNA, we require these cloning vehicles which are called as vectors. So vectors play an important role in carrying out your foreign DNA as well as expression of your foreign DNA. A number of vectors have been introduced, but a few vectors will be discussed as prescribed in the syllabus, which play an important role in recombinant DNA technology. So first of all, we have to know the difference between a cloning vector and an expression vector. A cloning vector is a vector in which our foreign DNA is introduced and you can obtain multiple copies of your foreign DNA along with the vector. So that is called cloning vector. An expression vector is a vector which carries your foreign DNA and plays an important role in the expression of the foreign DNA. So your foreign DNA gene product will be obtained with the help of expression vector. So you can see the difference. Cloning vector is a small piece of DNA which can be stably maintained within the host cell. It is introduced into genes, into cells, while obtaining numerous copies of the insert. So you can obtain multiple copies of your foreign DNA with the help of cloning vectors. Whereas in expression vector, used to obtain gene product of inserted DNA segment, either a protein or RNA. So you can obtain mRNA, from mRNA you can obtain protein. So that is the function of the expression vector. So the examples of cloning vectors include bacterial artificial chromosome, plasmids, phasmids, cosmids, yeast artificial chromosomes, etc. An expression vector, a plasmid vector, for example, tumor inducing plasmid, TI plasmid. So the cloning vector have to be some important genes in it for the process of obtaining multiple copies of your foreign DNA. So it comprises of an origin of replication, unique restriction sites, and a selectable marker. So for obtaining your foreign DNA multiple copies, the vector should contain origin of replication, restriction sites for insertion of your foreign DNA after treatment with restriction endonucleases, and a selectable marker which is used to identify the transformed cells. That we will discuss in upcoming slides. Whereas the expression vector comprises of enhancers, promoters, termination codon, transcription initiation sequence, translation initiation sequence, etc. That means all the factors needed for the efficient expression of your foreign DNA. So the vector contain enhances, promoters, termination sequences, transcription initiation sequences, translation initiation sequences, etc. that play an important role in the expression of your foreign DNA. So that is the difference between a cloning vector and an expression vector. So cloning vector obtain multiple copies of your foreign DNA, whereas expression vector is used for expression of your foreign DNA. So that is the difference. So these are some characteristic features of cloning vectors. So they contain origin of replication, so ability to promote autonomous replication. So irrespective of the main chromosome or DNA, they will carry out their own process of replication if they contain origin of replication. Contain a genetic marker for selection. So it will be an antibiotic resistant marker or some other marker which is used to select the transformed cells from the non-transformed cells. So that is the use of genetic marker. Unique restriction sites. So restriction enzyme cleavage sites should be there, where if you treat with restriction enzymes, they will produce a gap. In that gap, you can insert your gene of interest or your foreign DNA. And the fourth one, minimum amount of non-essential DNA to optimize cloning. So that means, for example, if a plasmid is there with 4 kb, after insertion of your foreign DNA, also the plasmid should contain 4 kb. So that means there are some conditions to optimize the size of the plasmid. Otherwise, if this optimization is not done, there is less chance of plasmid replication or plasmid expression. So, minimum amount of non-essential DNA is needed to optimize the cloning. So, unwanted DNA can be identified and can be removed, and your foreign DNA can be inserted, and some non-essential DNA is used to optimize the vector. So, that is cloning vector characteristic features. Whereas an expression vector, you can see clearly here a bacterial expression vector, you have the promoter sequence, operator sequence, origin of replication, and a selectable marker, and a polylinker with unique sites for restriction cleavage site, transcription termination sequence, and gene encoding repressor that binds to operator and regulates promoter. So same as operon, the plasmids for the expression vector which has to be expressed in the bacterial cells contain the main promoter region and also upstream to the promoter region the repressor protein region and also an operator region and a ribosome binding site and transcription termination sequence. So these promoter and operator and transcription or ribosome binding sites help play an important role in the expression of your gene of interest. And the selectable marker antibiotic resistance play an important role in selection between transformed and non-transformed cells after introducing your vector into bacteria. So this is how the expression vector is designed for the expression of your foreign DNA in the bacterial cells. So the first vector that has been created is obtained from Escherichia coli, that is PBR322. It is a 4361 base pair plasmid, circular plasmid, double stranded plasmid obtained from Escherichia coli. It has been designed by Bolivar and Rodriguez. So hence the name plasmid Bolivar and Rodriguez. It has an origin of replication. You can clearly see this PBR322 is a cloning vector. That means you can insert your foreign DNA and obtain multiple copies of your foreign DNA along with the vector. So it has resistance markers like ampicillin resistance and tetracycline resistance, and EcoR1 restriction cleavage site. So this EcoR1 restriction cleavage site, you can cleave the plasmid and insert your foreign DNA. The insert size I will mention in the upcoming slides. So at restriction endonuclease cleavage site EcoR1, you can introduce your foreign DNA. You can select the transformed or non-transformed cells based on ampicillin resistance, and also your foreign DNA of insert you can check with the help of tetracycline resistance. So that means if your foreign DNA is inserted in between tetracycline resistant gene, the gene is disrupted and tetracycline resistance is not shown. So those cells which contain the foreign DNA does not show the tetracycline resistance, whereas cells which does not contain the foreign DNA, they show tetracycline resistance, because your foreign DNA is inserted in between the tetracycline resistance genes. The transformed cells does not show tetracycline resistance. And how can you differentiate the transformed and non-transformed cells is based on the ampicillin resistance. So ampicillin will be active in transformed cells, whereas the non-transformed cells does not contain ampicillin resistance. So you can select between non-transformed and transformed cells based on ampicillin, and you can select your foreign DNA insertion based on tetracycline resistance. So that is plasmid Bolivar and Rodriguez 322, which is a 4361 base pair plasmid. So next plasmid is PUC19. It is also a cloning plasmid, cloning vector. PUC means Plasmid University of California. So you can clearly see the origin of replication. LAC-Z gene, which play an important role for the synthesis of beta-galactosidase, and a resistance marker ampicillin R, ampicillin resistance marker, LAC-I promoter, LAC-Z promoter, and you can see the multiple cloning site at LAC-Z region. So the vector will code for beta-galactosidase, which will cleave X-gal. X-gal is generally a non-chromogenic substance. When it is cleaved, it will give blue color. X plus gal, the X will give blue color. So that is the substrate which is used for the identification of insertion of your foreign DNA. So that means at multiple cloning site in LAC-Z region, you will insert your foreign DNA. If you are going to insert your foreign DNA at multiple cloning site, then LAC-Z gene is disrupted and beta-galactosidase is interrupted. So X-gal, the substrate used in the medium, is not cleaved, then you will get white correlates. That means your foreign DNA has been inserted, then you will get white correlates. Otherwise you will get blue correlates. Like that, based on color, you can select the foreign DNA containing cells and non-foreign DNA containing cells based on the LAC-Z gene disruption. Whereas you can identify the transformed and non-transformed cells based on ampicillin resistance. So first you will isolate the transformed and non-transformed cells based on ampicillin resistance. After that, you will isolate the foreign DNA containing cells and non-foreign DNA containing cells based on the beta galactosidase lac Z gene expression. If the foreign DNA is present, then you will get white colonies. If it is absent, it contains only vector, then you will get blue colonies. Then you will collect the white colonies and you can obtain multiple copies of your foreign DNA along with the cloning vector. So that is cloning vector PUC19 plasmid, University of California. So the next plasmid is lambda phase plasmid. Lambda phase plasmid. So lambda phase DNA is a 49 kb length DNA. You can see on the top, it is a 49 kb length DNA. On the ends of the DNA, they contain cos sites. So cos means cohesive sites, which play an important role in recircularization of linear DNA into circular DNA. So at the center you can see the restriction cleavage sites and a stuffer fragment, that means unwanted fragment. So lambda phase, after infection of the bacteria, it will recircularize this plasmid with the help of these cos sites. And after recircularization, multiple copies of your plasmid can be obtained. So if you insert this foreign DNA into this yellow colored site, which is called a stuffer fragment. So stuffer fragment is a fragment where unwanted DNA is present. So there are two restriction enzyme sites where you can cleave the restriction sites with the help of restriction enzymes, and you can insert your foreign DNA. So after insertion of your foreign DNA, it will be introduced into the bacterial cells. So due to cohesive sites at the ends, the linear DNA which contains the recombinant DNA or foreign DNA will automatically recircularize and multiple copies of your foreign DNA can be obtained. So that is lambda phase vector with the help of lambda phase DNA. So the next one is cosmids. So cosmids are also cloning vectors which are also called as, which will come under plasmids. They contain both plasmid and lambda phase cloning vectors. So that means they contain genes of both plasmid and lambda phase. Generally they do not occur naturally like lambda phase, but they are constructed. So they contains origin of replication of E. coli, and they contain a selection marker amplicin resistance, and they contain cohesive sites for recircularization of the plasmid, and they contain cloning site, multiple cloning sites where you can insert your foreign DNA. So these cosmids, why they are used is they have more packaging size when compared to lambda phase, that is around 37 to 52 kb of your foreign DNA can be inserted into the cloning site. Since they contain origin of replication of E. coli, you can obtain multiple number of copies of your foreign DNA with the help of, along with your vector. So and the resistance marker that is present is ampicillin resistance, which can be used to identify the transformed and non-transformed cells. So that is ampicillin resistance, cohesive sites, origin of replication and cloning sites with regard cosmids, which contain both the characters of plasmid and lambda phase. So the next one is bacterial artificial chromosomes. So you can clearly see the bacterial artificial chromosomes. back, which are called as back vectors, where you can see the origin of replication allows it to replicate in bacteria. PAR. So PAR genes play an important role in segregation of these vectors evenly between the daughter cells. So you can obtain multiple copies of your foreign DNA, as well as if the bacteria is going to divide, the PAR genes play an important role in the distribution of your cloning vector between the daughter cells. So that is the function of the PAR genes. And a LAGZ gene, which will code for beta galactosidase, play an important role for identification of your insect. So cloning site is there, so that is present in between the LAGZ gene, which will code beta galactosidase, that will give cleave X-gal substrate in the medium, which convert colorless substrate to colored product. If your foreign DNA is inserted in this LAGZ gene, which contains the cloning sites, the LAGZ expression is stopped and you will get a white colonies. So those are the real bacteria which contain your foreign DNA. So that is bacterial artificial chromosomes, which contains chloramphenicol resistance gene, CMR, chloramphenicol resistance genes. So this is used for identification between transformed and non-transformed cells. So that is bacterial artificial chromosome. So this is how you select the transformed and non-transformed cells. So you can clearly see here, your insert is LAGZ, foreign DNA is inserted in the LAGZ region. First you will isolate the bacterial cells which contain these back plasmid and non-back plasmid cells based on chloramphenicol resistance. After that, selection on chloramphenicol, you will transform those colonies onto an agar containing a substrate called beta galactosidase. Sometimes both chloramphenicol and beta galactosidase is used in the same petri dish, and you allow the cells to grow. So those cells which show colonies with recombinant bags are white in color because your insect is in LAGZ region, so there won't be expression of LAGZ gene, so you get white color colonies. And the blue color colonies are non-transformed cells where the expression of LAGZ gene is seen, where blue color is obtained because of conversion of X-gal to X and gal. So that is how you select the bacterial cells, transformed and non-transformed bacterial cells based on antibiotic resistance, and also foreign gene containing and non-foreign gene containing bacteria based on the LAGZ gene expression. So the next one is yeast artificial chromosome. Yeast artificial chromosome. You can clearly see, since it is an yeast is an eukaryotic cell, hence they contain telomeric regions and centromeric regions in that artificial chromosome. So you can clearly see the EcoR1 restriction enzyme site. You can see origin of replication. So that is in the yeast. So generally this plasmid is used for obtaining multiple copies of your foreign DNA, or sometimes for the expression of your foreign DNA. So this plasmid is used in fungi called as Pichia pastoris. It is an yeast, Pichia pastoris, where your foreign DNA can be expressed. First insulin is developed, after that bacterial development. First insulin is developed in Pichia pastoris. So that since it contains eukaryotic characters, the post translational modifications are easy if you carry out gene expression in an eukaryotic cell. Whereas post-transcriptional modifications you cannot obtain by using bacterial cells. So post-transcriptional modifications can be obtained when you use only eukaryotic cells. So if you express your DNA in the eukaryotic cells, then the proteins obtained can undergo post-transcriptional modifications. Hence we use these yeast artificial chromosomes which have large insert size of your foreign DNA, and you can obtain post-transcriptional modifications of your protein of interest. So that is yeast artificial chromosome, so which has an ampicillin resistance marker which is used for the selection between transformed and non-transformed cells, and a marker proteins and an origin of replication, and BAM-H1 site between two telomers, where with the help of EcoR1 and BAM-H1 you can obtain two fragments of the YAC vector, and you can introduce this foreign DNA of your interest in between these two fragments, and you can recircularize, allow it to recircularize, or sometimes that chromosome is used as it is for the transformation of Pichia pastoris and yeast, where you can obtain multiple copies sorry, multiple copies of your foreign DNA, as well as you can also obtain the protein of interest. So that is yeast artificial chromosome. So the next one is TI plasmid. So you have an idea about BT cotton, Bacillus thuringiensis. So Bacillus thuringiensis contain a plasmid called as TI plasmid. So generally bacterial thuringiensis, it has some cry genes. So that cry genes are taken, are inserted into TI plasmid of Agrobacterium tumefaciens. So Agrobacterium tumefaciens contain a TI plasmid, and these Agrobacterium tumefaciens, it will cause crown gall disease in the dicot plants. So Bacillus thuringiensis, Bt toxin, it will produce Bt toxin. So the protein play an important role in the inhibition of several caterpillar larvae which destroy the plants, like bollworms, other type of worms. So Bacillus thuringiensis will produce cry genes that will produce a cry protein which will inhibit this bollworm or other type of caterpillar worms. So the Bt gene from Bacillus thuringiensis is taken, and it is inserted into the TI plasmid of Agrobacterium tumefaciens. So you can clearly see insertion of gene into plasmid using restriction enzyme and a DNA ligase. So you got a TI plasmid with your foreign DNA now. So recombinant TI plasmid. Now with the help of these Agrobacterium tumefaciens, you can infect the plant cells such that the plant cell will express the cry genes, and finally the Bt toxin is obtained in every part of the plant. Whenever the bollworm feeds on these leaves or stem or anything, immediately the Bt toxin will enter into their gut, forming punctures in the gut, leading to osmolysis and death of the bollworms. That is how you insert your foreign DNA, that means Bt genes, into TI plasmid of Agrobacterium tumefaciens and allow it to infect the plant cells, where the expression of Bt genes, that means cry genes, is seen, and Bt toxin is produced in the every part of the plant cell. So that is the role of Agrobacterium tumefaciens TI plasmid. So this is an expression vector. TI plasmid is an expression vector. You can clearly see tumor inducing genes are present between two border sequences, left border and right border. You can clearly see in the diagram LR sequences, left border and right border sequences, you contain tumor producing genes, so which will cause crown gall. You can remove these tumor producing genes and you can insert your foreign DNA in between the left border and right border. Whatever genes that are present in between the left border and right border, they are inserted into the plant genome and they are expressed efficiently. So your foreign DNA of interest should be introduced in between the left and right border, where after infection this left and right border along with your foreign DNA will be inserted into the genome of the plant and expression of your foreign DNA will take place. So your foreign DNA of interest should be inserted into left border and right border, and this plasmid is introduced into Agrobacterium tumefaciens, which will infect the plant cells. So there is a virulence region here that play an important role in the transport of this left and right border DNA and insertion of this DNA into the plant genome. So the virulence region gene products play an important role in the cleavage of left and right border along with the foreign DNA and play an important role in the insertion of the foreign DNA into the plant genome. And there is an origin of replication where multiple copies of your TA plasmid can be obtained along with your foreign DNA. So that is tumor inducing plasmid, which contains your foreign DNA like Bt toxin or cryogens that play an important role in insertion into the plant genome and expression of your protein of interest in the plant cells. So now you can clearly see the insert size of the vectors plasmid, which can be used in bacteria or yeast. So saw a small circular DNA, the insert size is ranging from 5 to 10 kb. Lambda phase up to 20 kb. It is a linear viral DNA which is discussed, which has cos sites. It can insert 20 kb DNA. And a cosmid, which is a hybrid vector from plasmid and phasemid, which contains cos sites and origin of replication of E. coli. And the insert size is around 50 kb for cosmid. And a yeast artificial chromosome, which mentioned earlier, which contains centromere, telomeres and origin of replication. It ranges from 200 to 1000 kb. And bacterial artificial chromosomes, it ranges from 300 kb to 2000 kb. So that is the insert size of different vectors, and that much kb of your foreign DNA can be inserted in those vectors. So the next one is a selectable marker versus a reporter marker. So you have used some resistant markers for the identification process between transformed and non-transformed cells. So these markers are of two types, selectable marker and reporter marker. So selectable marker means resistance of antibiotics or some herbicide resistance, etc. A gene whose expression allows one to identify cells that have been transformed or transfected with a vector containing the marker gene. So as I mentioned, they are used for identification between transformed and non-transformed cells. That is selectable marker. So a reporter marker is a gene used to tag another gene or DNA sequence. So a reporter gene is tagged at the end of your foreign DNA. If your foreign DNA is going to express, this reporter marker is also expressed. So that means it will indicate the amount of expression of your foreign DNA. So that is reporter marker. Selectable marker is used for selection of the transformed and non-transformed cells, whereas reporter marker is used for the identification of expression of your gene of interest. So this is mentioned, helps to distinguish between transformed and non-transformed cells, helps to measure the amount of expression of transformed gene. So that is the main difference. Has its own promoter, regulated under the promoter of transformed gene. So since it is tagged after your foreign DNA, this particular gene is controlled with the help of the promoter of your foreign DNA. So that is the another difference between selectable and reportable marker. Best examples of selectable markers are antibiotic resistance, herbicide resistance, etc. Reporter markers, green fluorescent protein and luciferase. It's a fluorescent protein. If the expression of your foreign DNA is more, means the fluorescence will be more. If it is less, means the fluorescence will be less. So that is how you will select your transformed and non-transformed cells based on selectable marker, and how you will score your expression of foreign DNA with the help of scoreable marker or reporter genes like GFP and luciferase. So that is vectors in brief, which are used for recombinant DNA technology. So thank you for patiently listening the topic.